Hello, this is Alex with Grow How. Today is June the 18th, I think, and I have not cleaned out my filters yet this year. This is not something I necessarily do right when the water turns on, because my water comes out of a surface area fairly close by. It's really, when I turn the watering system on, it's muddy. I can clean out the filter and it's going to be dirty 5 minutes later. So I've taken a little bit of time on that. Now, what we see right here is we've got two boxes. We've got the actual filter in this box right here, and we'll get a closer look at that later. And then over here, I've got the shutoff. And if you'll go look at that, as I do it, you'll notice that there's a turning bar, a lever on top of the shutoff, and it is running, right now it's running parallel with the pipe. It's going the same direction as the water is going. When I turn it off, I'll turn it off. On this one, I think it's a 90 degree. And then you'll know it's off. Now, there are some variations on that, so you're going to have to use a little bit of trial and error on your system. I should also mention, this is a secondary system. This is not culinary water. It is not clean. It is not sanitized. Quite often, it is muddy. As late as a week ago, I was getting very visibly muddy water out of the system. It's been on since, I want to say, mid-April. So this is that's the system I got. Now, I did forget to mention there's a little lock loop on this, so when the top lock loop lines up with the bottom lock loop, this is so the city can lock off the water. This will be, it's going to be off, and that's a good thing to note. Also, right there, can't quite see it from here. I'm going to tilt that in a little bit. There is a valve right there. It's got all the roly-polies or pill bugs or whatever you want to call them, sow bugs crawling on it. I can take some pressure off the system with that, and it probably will. But you can also use that for hose watering out here. That's what my system came with from the city. And this is the area where the most action is going to be. Let me go ahead and take some pressure off the system. Okay, now I happen to have a very large set of pliers. In theory, you should be able to do this with your hand. Quite often I can't anymore. I don't know if that's because I'm old or I'm just weak to begin with. I generally don't tighten it with tools, but sometimes I need tools to loosen it. Ooh. Yeah. That's a pretty gunky filter. Also, if you look on the inside, you can see there's a layer of gunk there. Now, I'm not going to show you me actually cleaning this out. I'm going to go to a spigot and do it from the clean house water. But also, this has got a layer of dirt in there. You can see that right there. And I could run a hose off of this, although I'm reluctant to do it because it's plastic. But it is post-filter, whereas the other one I showed is pre-filter. I got snails in there, so there's just a slight amount of leakage. I'd be more likely to use this one if I had another connection on it to protect that, so I'm not taking stuff on and off and ruining it. I don't want to replace this part. Be back in a minute. Okay, honestly, I'm gonna need a brush and some water, or some soap actually. I've never seen a filter that's dirty before. It's clean for now. I'll have to do a better job later. This may actually be gummed up enough. It may be best for me to replace it. I'll have to evaluate that. Really bad. You know, you kind of expect a lot of hard sediment in there. A lot of this was fairly fine. Probably some algae in there. That one, I still use a scrub down, and again, soap, water, and a brush rather than just water, I think would be the thing. But right now, that'll have to do. Okay, I turned the water back on, I pressurized it, we haven't got any leaks. One thing I should have really been thinking about though, is right there. I had the valve there. I didn't actually need to use the pliers and everything to turn it off from the city. On the other hand, those plastic ball valves, generally not very good. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to work anyway, so it's something to think about. I could have used it. What I did was just fine. Now I can go back on to my next sprinkler project. Slightly cleaner water, but I'd like you to think about that. As dirty as that was, I was still getting brown water out of the pipes last week. This only does so much good. All that gunk, all that dirt is likely to plug up a regular sprinkler. It'll definitely plug up a drip, and since I'm doing drip, yeah, that's why I got the extra filter. I've got to increase my chances of making sure everything's efficient, that everything doesn't get plugged up. That, I think, is all for today. If you haven't done this yet, if you haven't done this since you've been on the property, it is a yearly maintenance thing. Even with the yearly maintenance, obviously mine, it got pretty gunky, and it was interfering with water, even if it doesn't necessarily show visually. Something to think about. And it's a lovely day. Not only do I have unprecedented traffic for this time of day, this time of year, I have aircraft above. Say hello. I'm waving at them. Thanks, everyone. Join me for my next adventure. And if you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get updates on what I'm doing, go ahead, hit the bell. Thank you very much. Manana.